Welcome, everybody. This is Matthew McQueenie from Konobos with several members of Konobos here. We are in Dublin, Ireland at Croke Park. But the really big announcements here were the Dublin-based new CEO, previous Chief Product Officer, Dave O'Flanagan. He gave his first really public appearance keynote today to the community. And we have Vaishali here, Kamruz and Lukasz from Konobos. And I'm going to go first to Cam, who's been very long in this community. Cam, what did you think about Dave O'Flanagan's his keynote and some of the things he said?
Yeah, it was great. It was interesting because I've been, as you mentioned, I've been in Sitecore for a very, very long time. And back when I started, it was the passion project initially of Michael Seifert, Lars, and the two other original founders. But they were very instrumental in getting Sitecore to where it was until 2016, 2017. And then obviously we had Mark Frost as the CEO after that, and Steve since 2020, 2021, whatever it was. For me, what's been really interesting is for Dave, he was the founder and CEO of BoxEver. So it's almost like it's going back to its owner-operator kind of route, and that kind of philosophy where it's your project, it's your baby, it's your passion, and you're driving that product, right? Not just based on hype. You want to see it succeed for its excellence. And I think that's what we heard a lot of from Dave, is they are going to reinvigorate the focus back onto product and delivery on what that product will deliver for customers.
So, Lukasz, you've also been a long time in Sitecore. I believe you got your 8th MVP this year, Sitecore MVP. You're also an organizer of this event, which I know is quite a passion project of your own. It goes on for much of the year, a lot of work that goes into it. From your vantage point as an organizer of this event, as a Sitecore MVP, what are your feelings about Dave O'Flanagan's speech and kind of what we're hearing from the direction of Sitecore so early in his leadership here as CEO?
Yeah, well, from my point of view, it's great that he's here in person, right? That's a huge change, and everything what he said is showing that Sitecore is like thinking out of making the Sitecore XP, XM a composable tool, right, as a part of a bigger picture. So that's great. I really appreciate that Sitecore is here and help us, right? The Sitecore people are here also to talk with everyone and like answer the questions of the people that are here.
And then we would be remiss if we did not bring up Vaishali here, who in her only second time at SUGCON also gave her second presentation, this one lasting 45 minutes, whereas last year was 15. So she's happy to be through that one. Vaishali, what are your feelings on this event, year 2, now that you're a veteran? And maybe just a little bit into what you spoke about as it relates to customer experience.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited to be here. I think it's so nice to meet the community in person. I met them recently at DX Sitecore in Dubai. And then just the aspect of seeing everyone together, having that kind of Sitecore energy in place is just phenomenal. Having it, even being here for the second time, I think just a jittery feeling that you have, I just hope that never fades off, no matter how many times I continue to be a part as a speaker or in any other aspect of the event, because it's a really good feeling to have, and I really want to hold on to that.
Cam, I'm going to go to you on this one here. Again, when we talked about your history with the platform, the overall industry has gone from this on-premise solution that was based on upgrades. It's nothing different about Sitecore. This is how much of the industry was. And then it went forward in the industry to this headless composable thing. Sitecore ultimately caught up with that and has a product suite for that. But I think what we're hearing now is this thing we've talked about a lot, even with vehicles and cars, is, we had electric vehicles, and then now a lot of people are using hybrid electric vehicles. Are you, kind of what are you feeling about Sitecore as it relates to that, where they went ahead, they have this composable solution, but it seems like they're kind of coming back home to meet the customers where they are now?
Well, I think Sitecore's always had this product and this suite of solutions. It's just they were vocalizing the XM Cloud more than they were vocalizing the other option, right? So it's not like they've just reinvented a new product. That product was already sitting there. They just restructured it now to actually give a clearer message to the customers that if you're not quite ready yet, we're still here for you. You still have other options available for us. It was great for them to double back down on their support and continue support and innovation around XP/XM. That will give a lot of people a lot of certainty now that they can continue on with this product, and it's not just. I know the 2030 announcement was made recently for extended support for 10.4 especially, but it's not just that. We are going to be doing things beyond that. There was mention of things like, we will need to relook at the content editor and the experience editor, right? And we had this before with Horizon, and it had just got there and it got yanked back in 10.3, and it sends a different message, right? Where you were putting this innovation in and you no longer are. But they're sending this clear message now. We are continuing on with XP/XM. You can still use it. We've talked about this a lot. I think XM is a really, really great platform. It always has been. XP has been tricky to use around the personalization and the scalability of that personalization particularly. This is why I passionately feel that XM is a great platform for those customers out there. You can supplement it with CDP and Sitecore Personalize, Sitecore Send if you want to use some of the emails tools, or use whichever email tools that you want to use. But you can then use that XM base to actually be XM Cloud ready. You can start to move those projects one by one, piece by piece, get it onto a headless architecture, on-prem still, using your existing licensing and your existing infrastructure. It gives your teams time to upskill as well. And I think Sitecore's seeing this now, that there is this medium path where you have to take Sitecore has to take their customers on this journey, right? We've had this before where they're like, right, we are now moving from web forms to MVC, but that didn't happen overnight. It was a journey for all of them, and people were able to transition, and they need that same breathing room now to make that transition.
Lukasz, my last question for you: put your solution architect hat on. You are working every day, very much on the on-premise solution upgrades, that world, with very large customers, might I say. When you look at that, when you look at the customers you work with, and then you look at these very composable headless announcements, does this path where they're saying there's a place for customers to move at a nicer speed, that must be a breath of fresh air or relief to you?
Yeah, it is in fact, but I think that it would be good to add at this point that Sitecore is not only like preparing a path to migrate, but they also say that they will support customers that need more time to move on to the other stack, right? So they won't let customers to stay behind, right? They are ready to support everyone on their path to the composable world, right? So that's also something that was mentioned today and made a really good impression on me.
Yeah, that was a very interesting announcement actually, because that's something we've never heard before. They specifically mentioned if you're on a 9.3, we will continue to support you and help you with the transition, right? Because a lot of people might not want to upgrade right now to 10.3, 10.4 because they're like, well, we want to transition, so there's no point. But then you don't want to be stuck on an old system either, which is unsupported.
Vaishali, last up with you here. You're kind of a different breed from, I don't mean in general, but you're kind of a different breed of maybe the typical SUGCON developer-based individual like our friends over here, but they're not only that too. How do you feel when you're kind of educating these folks, this part of the market on this whole foofy customer experience thing, which is really important? But what is it like seeing kind of the light bulbs turn on for them about the importance of this, and maybe being the first person who's introducing these concepts to them?
That's a great question, and I couldn't agree more. I do feel like a black sheep sometimes, but being recognized as a strategy MVP this year for the first time, I also feel like it's given me that credibility of the efforts that we as Conabos are trying to put out for our clients and do that on regular basis. But it's just now channelized and more visible for Sitecore of what everything that we're doing internally and with our clients. So. And the response that we're getting is phenomenal from the Sitecore community. People are reaching out. They're asking, personally, even my feedback post this session about like, oh, what do you think? How can we improve XP based on journey mapping? Or whether it is, how much are you looking forward to the next updates on 10.4, XP 10.4? So there's so much acceptance now that it's an interesting time and an interesting space to be in at this moment of time as a CX strategist.
Thank you, Vaishali.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank all the organizers. These guys did an amazing job. Just the Sitecore community in general, I think they do support this event immensely. It's one of us as traditional Sitecore developers. It's one of our favorite events. We really, really enjoy it. The networking part of this, the socializing part of it, right, is immense. It's amazing. It feels much more natural, right? We're like friends at an event, getting back together, right? We look forward to seeing each other, and it was really, really great to see the reinvigoration with all the people actually at Sitecore themselves, right? Talking with them, they're super, super excited to have this new product-led approach to what they're doing now, to what they're building. There's still the same passion and the same goal, but they're looking at things with a slightly longer term vision than they were maybe 6 months ago or a year, right? It's no secret that that Sitecore was trying to find a buyer, and it felt like that's now gone, that's past, and they're now looking at how do we make this the best product for the long term. And yeah, great having those conversations with all those people at Sitecore. We had a great conversation with Dave for a good 10-15 minutes, and this is not a conversation we've had with the CEOs prior to like Lars and Michael back in the day. But Dave was genuinely interested in what we were talking about and what we were saying, and some of the things that we were saying would help our customers, right, on this journey.
So I just want to add on one more thing is I absolutely agree on the long-term vision that you spoke about, but I also think they're looking at things from a more holistic perspective by prioritizing CX or personalization conversations and expanding the marketer's track. They are showing that we're looking at things from a 360 perspective and a long-term vision, which is very, very, very exciting.
Vaishali, Cam, Lukasz, thank you in this beautiful stadium, empty, waiting to be filled by us. So thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.